Hey guys, this is Two Idiots Rambling with Evan and Tristan, my buddy, the other idiot.
Yeah.
And today will be about the Chick-Fil-A work experience. We both worked at Chick-Fil-A.
Yep.
I worked there for a little over 2 years.
I was like around a little over a year
A
there.
little over here. Yeah, and we just had some great stories for that.
Oh, absolutely.
For one, is something that they would do would like not make you, but highly suggest you clock on early and practically beg you if there was like a rush and they were understaffed, So one morning at like 10:45, a bus of like 40 kids come in and maybe like 7 adults, right? I think it was like a track or a football team. I have no idea. But the manager that was working was like, "Hey Evan, can you clock on?" Blah blah blah. I was like, "Oh sure, I finished my food. I'm just scrolling through TikTok right now." Yeah. And then I clock on, and one of the lead coach or whatever is to the front. I raise my hand like they do and go, "I can help you over here," being all polite and smiling.
Yeah.
And he looks me dead in the face and goes, "Is it okay if like everyone just orders from this register? Because I'm paying for all of it." And I just go,
No.
Say what, dude? Yeah. I wanted to say no so bad.
There's like, it's so much easier to use all of them, but use the same like card or whatever on just like all the registers.
Anyway, so I guess, okay. So it takes maybe about 30 to 40 minutes for everyone to order. Now, if you've ever been to a Chick-Fil-A, you know that they give out the cup, like the table markers.
Exactly.
And since everyone was ordering, we couldn't all give them table markers.
No, they were...
So we could only give one because they're ordering from the same register. Yeah. So what we had to do was when they were all sitting down, we had to go with a tray of food and literally just like yell the order. We'd be like, "All right, we have a 4-count strip with a large fry and a Sprite with 3 Chick-fil-A sauce." And then wait until someone went, "Oh, that's me," and then walk over and give it to them. And the whole process, the order taking, the bagging the food, they're running it out, took well over an hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that sucked.
Oh my gosh. We similar story to that pre-COVID is that one time we were told like, "Hey, we're gonna have some people coming in, like later. It's like gonna be like a little bit of a bus." And I was like, "Oh, okay, it's gonna be like not that many," but like 60 people walked in, and they all ordered like $6 meals, but gave like a 20 each time.
Oh my gosh.
It was,
dude, no.
We ran out of $1 bills so fast, and they were just...
Why?
I don't know.
Like,
it was so bad.
That's the worst. Holy crap.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no. But other than that, if it got really busy, we were usually well staffed, but there would be some people who just were terrible and didn't do their job.
Oh yeah.
Like what's her face? Helena, dude.
Oh, Helena.
So there's this girl named Helena, and she was just in pain. She was a pain to work with because she was really rude. She would literally talk to you while you're taking orders.
Oh yeah, that.
All the time. Like I remember one time, I was taking orders. I was pissed because I was next to Helena.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, you can help who's ever next." And I'm talking, and I'm being nice, taking this person's order, and all of a sudden, I just literally feel someone punch me, like, in the shoulder, and I'm just like, what the frick? I look over to my left, and they're like, "Evan, I'm asking you a question." I'm like, "Can't you see him in the middle of an order?" And she goes, No, that can wait.
That can wait.
And I'm just
no,
like,
it can't.
No, what do you mean that can wait, And then she's like, I don't remember what she said, but she needed help with something. So I'm like, "Okay, yeah, just wait until like after I'm done with the order, please."
Oh my gosh.
She was not fun.
I would say like I started working with her also, but like it seemed fine. I think that was the only thing is like she would just try to like interrupt you and distract you from your actual job.
Yeah,
that's what made it really hard.
And then she was just like really rude too.
Oh, she,
to like either like customers or coworkers. I think they ended up actually either firing her or she left.
I know she put her 2 weeks in, so she
Or
did leave.
she did?
She did leave. I know that.
I'm glad.
And she, oh my gosh, I just remembered one time I was asking her to cover a shift, and she said, "Oh no, I quit. Sorry." But then like I later find out that like she didn't quit yet. She was going to put her 2 weeks in, but she didn't quit yet. So she very well could have taken my shift, just decided not to.
If you don't want to take someone's shift, just go.
Say no.
Just always make a better excuse.
Yeah.
Just be like, "Oh, I'm doing
got
something with my
family."
family,"
Yeah, just
or
like-
just like, "Oh, I can't. I'm just busy." And
Yeah,
they'll be like,
like-
"Oh, sure, okay." Just don't be like, "Oh, I quit."
Like, oh, I quit, and then like, cause like those lies are very, very easy to see through.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
At the same time, it was on Valentine's Day.
it was on Valentine's.
It was so
Oh my
it was so
gosh.
funny because what happened is that I texted her saying I was dumb for doing this. I said, "Hey, are you doing anything tonight?" And she's like, "Oh no, I'm not. Why?" And now looking back at it, I was like, "Oh, she thought I was gonna ask her out for Valentine's Day."
No.
And I was just like, and now I kind of feel bad about it because I was like, "Hey, are you doing anything tonight?" She's like, "Oh no, why?" And I was like, "Can you cover my shift?" She was like, "Oh, actually, I quit." That's probably why she said she quit. Is because she already said.
She's probably pissed. She's like, "Ah, damn."
No.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
That was. Oh my gosh, it was such. Oh my, that was pretty good.
Yeah, and then I don't know if he still works there now, but there's Josh. Beckman.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know him. He goes.
So
to
this
school.
guy was he was all right to work with. He's pretty funny and fun to talk to and work with. He did his job decent.
Yeah.
The only thing is that he would take like 15-minute bathroom breaks and like
Yeah,
no one would
actually.
notice.
He would.
And another thing is that at Chick-Fil-A we keep sauces under the counter, like the
like
boxes.
the whole boxes, yeah.
And what he would do is he would like bend down and put his hand in the boxes, so it looked like he was getting sauce.
But he wasn't.
Yeah.
He was just
Yeah, he
pretending to
wouldn't.
work. Oh
Yeah,
my
so he's pretending to
gosh.
work, and he'd do that for like 5-10 minutes, and no one would notice. That was really annoying. Or like whenever he'd be like, "Hey Josh, can you run an order?" He'd be like, "Nope,
Okay.
gotta go to the back."
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I gotta."
And then just make an excuse. It was just kind of annoying.
Like, if I ever got like before COVID, like when it was like a super slow day, like let's say it was like Monday, right? Or not?
Yeah.
No, not Monday.
Like a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, like a Tuesday, right? So it's like super slow, no one's coming in. We've done everything, and they're like, "You can clean," and it's like I've cleaned the same thing 3 times. I'm pretty sure it's clean from
And
everything.
it's like, don't worry, I've wiped down the counter 6 times.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's clean.
Oh my gosh. So I got really bored, and like before we would have like jam and jelly along with like honey like on the side, and so I went over there and I started to organize them and make them look all pretty.
Yeah.
And
I did that a few times.
it was just because like they
'Cause
like
there
it.
was nothing to do. Dude.
Yeah, there was nothing to do. They just throw them in there. I was like, okay, I'll make them all stand up. All the coffee creamers, I like stacked them. I
Yeah,
stacked them so
remember.
nice, and it was just like, because it got so boring. But like that's because I had nothing else to do, not because I just wanted to like get paid to do nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was just.
Yeah, it was pretty fun, and then COVID hit, and that's
Oh,
a whole
man.
different story.
Yeah,
But COVID hit, and time it was a little harder to work, but everyone seemed to get way more serious about their job
yeah. It was
after
weird.
COVID. And corruption, everyone's favorite thing, power
Oh my
corrupts
gosh.
people. So
Just during COVID, for some reason, like, and then everyone started like quitting because they're like, well, before when people had
Yeah.
quit, they were like, oh, I'm gonna go back to Chick-Fil-A.
yeah.
They just like were like, I'll go find another job, or
Yeah.
oh well, I'm gonna focus on school.
And
but
here's
like,
the thing, like during COVID, the owner, not gonna say his name because we don't want to reveal the location.
That's true. Oh, yeah.
Actually, whatever. I don't really care.
they don't really.
Anyways, the owner, I know for a fact that our buddy, or my buddy, I don't know, whatever, Kevin, that works there, he's a manager
Oh yeah.
at Chick-Fil-A, and he told me that the owner made like 2 or 3 times more profit than he did last year.
Oh my gosh.
And
that's
he's still paying people like $8.50,
Yeah, $8.50
$9
and
an hour, and there are higher ups that are making bank like
Yeah.
over 45 an hour.
right. There are people that are living off of
50.
Chick-Fil-A.
Well, yeah, because I know Natalie. I think she
Yeah.
is Gabriel Holiday.
Oh yep.
I think he is. He was
He
fun
is.
though. He was fun to work with.
Was he? I didn't really work with him that much.
I worked with him a little bit when they started scheduling more in drive-through.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, But yeah, so that was one reason a lot of people. I know for you that was a reason you quit.
Oh my gosh. They just like hired all the wrong people during
Yeah.
COVID and just like they didn't.
And some people were like really annoying. And then luckily for me, I was like, I guess most of the managers didn't like me because of my attitude or whatever. But I did my job and I did my job well and efficient. And when someone heard that I wanted to put my 2 weeks in, almost in the next few days, I got offered a raise. But here's the thing. They weren't just like, we'll just give you a raise. They're like, if you work an extra lunch in a week, we'll get, which they did a lot. They're like, yeah, if you want to work 2 more lunches a week, we'll give you a raise. And I'm just like, just give me the raise without the extra work. Like, why are you like this?
Who knows?
But yeah, so I would have been making maybe around 12 an hour.
That's pretty good, but
I think I quit making 10.50 or 10.75.
that's right.
I was actually like one of the people that was making over 9.50 an hour. Like one of like maybe like a dozen people.
You were very lucky because when I started there, I was doing.
Me,
I guess. They had to because I got 8.50 an hour, and I
started at freaking 8.
Like I showed up in my interview and like orientation in a full out suit. Like
I just did like a collared shirt and khakis.
Like I go to orientation and like I come in a suit. And then I see everyone else in just like school clothes.
Yeah.
Dude,
and I remember that. My orientation, I just go with like a red collared shirt and khakis, and for whatever reason, my name tag. I don't know why, and then I see everyone in like sweats and like, shoot.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm like, gosh darn it.
Well, now I look weird.
Yeah, it's like now you look like the weird one.
Oh, and during orientation, they offer you a drink. They're like, oh, like, do you guys want a drink? And like, it was just like, I said like, and they started with me, so I was like, I mean, I'll take a lemonade, I guess, thanks. But everyone else ordered water, so I felt like it was just like,
guys, it's free, don't
like,
worry.
Free.
Yeah. Speaking of that, another thing about working at least at the Chick-Fil-A we worked at, by the way, just double checking, everything we say does not apply to every Chick-Fil-A. This was just our personal experience at the one we worked at.
Yeah.
Experiences may differ.
Yeah.
Anyways.
The one that's like the next town over, like everyone says like, oh, that's a great one.
Yeah.
And I was like, is it?
Really?
But because the one that we worked at is just like awful.
Yeah. I mean, it's good in business. It's really good because the numbers are really good.
Oh yeah, but
it's like a really toxic and the management sucks.
Management's awful, super toxic. But like, for like business wise, that guy is making so much money. I believe that every year, he always doubles or like makes that more money than he did the last year.
Yes.
Or like seriously, like every Saturday, he's like, let's shoot for a new goal every Saturday. And
yeah,
he would
let's shoot
always
for a new freaking world record, dude. Let's get the
would...
Olympic gold medal in Chick-Fil-A.
He like always is like, let's break this record. And so every single Saturday we broke the record, and it's like, holy cow, like just chillax, dude. Like,
but
this
here's
guy
the thing: is it's good to break the record, but they pushed you like super hard and got mad if you did like one little thing wrong, or if like you were a little too slow. They got like really mad at you because you gotta break the record.
Yeah, they were really greedy when it came to that. Just like they just pushed you way too hard. Like it's like when you're close to breaking a record and it's like, oh yeah, like let's try.
Oh, 30 minutes left. We gotta get 20 more orders, guys. Go. It's like calm down.
Jeez, but like
chill, dude.
Oh my gosh. So bad.
Yeah. During COVID, I mean, of course, that was like the worst times for me.
It was awful.
But one thing that really sucked was, just working with like the managers you really hate, I guess, because my preferred position at least was and from the counter anyways. So like during COVID, we didn't have front open for people to come in. You could order takeout, or you probably know, you order in, you sit in a parking spot, someone runs it out.
Yep.
Or order DoorDash. Yep. So one of my favorite positions was either running, which was just running the food out to the cars, because that's like easy, and you're not gonna, if there's no orders to run, you can't really get yelled out for doing anything because there's always a stalker.
Exactly.
Or sauces, and what sauces basically is the person that's bagging the food gives puts the food on the counter.
And you just throw the sauces in.
Yeah, you throw the sauces in. You get all the drinks together. You put napkins, straws, silverware in the bag.
That's right. You did sauces and drinks.
Yeah, you did sauces, and then we usually had people that made the drinks, and they would just put them on the counter. So you find the right drinks, you put it on the tray, you double check that everything in the bag is right. Napkins, mints, all that jazz.
Yep.
And you get one of your goon runners to
I hated that name when they called you like a goon. I wanted
or like a baby or something.
Yeah,
they're like
I was like, they're like, what are your goons to do? I was like, if you call me that,
stop.
I'm gonna burn the place down. It just was so bad. But like my favorite thing during COVID was probably doing like the drinks part.
Yeah, drinks was really fun. It's like really easy too, because literally you're just making drinks.
Oh yeah.
And it's really easy.
Like, and then in drive-through, like during COVID, like doing like desserts, and desserts is like just like shakes and stuff. Like,
yeah,
like,
I didn't really like desserts because I didn't do them. I didn't do it enough to where I could do it efficient and fast.
Okay. I don't know. They just like put me on desserts a lot because I don't really know how to do anything else, or like they just didn't want me to do anything else.
I think on drive they usually put me at stocking, order taking.
Stocking just gets so like boring so fast. So
here's the thing about stocking, guys, is that it's literally what it sounds like. You stock sauces, cups, lids, ice, anything that you're running out of, you just like stock. But here's the thing, if it's like really slow and everything is already stocked and you have nothing to do, at least at our Chick-Fil-A, if you are any job really, you know, if you're caught standing around and doing nothing, someone's gonna get like on you for that, and they're gonna yell at you. And there's a few select managers that if you stand still for freaking 2 seconds, because you feel a little dizzy, they're gonna scream at you. Yeah. So for me, anyways, it was very stressful to be stalking and drive because I always had to find something to do. But usually, if it was busy, it wasn't too bad. But yeah,
it was so weird like that. You would just like be stalking, and then you're like, all right, I'm done. What do I do now? Nothing.
Nope.
And it's like, and you're like, oh, I don't have to do anything.
Like, no. Everything's stocked, so you just kind of like stand there. And if you got one of the cool managers and they're like, hey, why are you standing around? You're like, I stocked everything. And they're like, oh, well, I'll just wait until something else needs to be stocked. You're like, gotcha. Okay. But if it's like a different bad manager, and they're like, what are you doing standing around? You're like, I stocked everything. And they're like, no, there's 3 more Chick-Fil-A sauces that need to be stocked. Ah! They were like freak out, and you're like, calm yourself down. It's not that serious.
It was so...
I don't think Mr. Owner Man is going to lose money because, like, I can fit exactly 2 more sauces into this, like, little bin that we keep the sauces in.
Well, at the same time, they're like, well, just, like, keep stacking them up and you can put more on. And then, like, the next day, a different manager's like, no, don't overstack the sauces. And then the next day, they're like, no, what are you doing? Like, you can put more on there. It's just
like a confusing whirlpool.
It really was. But if you had a cool manager and you were done with your job, like stocking everything, or you had like if you were doing drinks and no more drinks showed up and you're just kind of like
you're kind of standing there
with the manager, at least they would just kind of like
okay,
they would you would be chilling there, you would talk to them, and then as soon as something came up, you'd be like, okay, let's just do this real quick. And,
exactly. Now you never closed.
No, because
I have some closings.
Yes. No.
So, for closing, or actually before. Right when I turned 16, because the laws or whatever is that if you're under 16, you can't work past 7 during the school year.
Right.
And if it's the summer, you can't work past 9. So, as soon as I turned 16, I had a shift, like, 2 days after my birthday, that was, like, 4 to 7. So I work 4 to 7, and then our best buddy, Kevin, literally tells me, Evan, you have to stay after to help with the rush. And I go, what? He goes, you have to stay because if you leave, then I'm gonna be by myself. So you have to stay. And I'm like,
that's too bad.
But I'm off at 7. It's like, nope, you gotta stay. And you see, I didn't really know like any of the laws or the rules, and I didn't want to get in trouble, so I stayed. He made me stay an hour after my shift. And like the reason he had me stay is because there was a lot of people off at 7, like employees, and there's also still like a lot of just like regular customers.
Yeah.
But even after like the 20-minute mini rush is what I usually just called it.
Yeah.
Even after that, he still had me stay just to like be his slave.
I guess.
And
so.
like
Oh, don't use that word. You're gonna get canceled.
Oh no.
Oh no, no.
But like, even usually if managers ask you to stay longer or something, they'll offer you like a free shake or a free dessert or a cookie.
They always
or
give
like
you
something extra to make it like worth your while.
Exactly.
Not just because you're doing it because they want you to. He didn't even like do that. And like the thing about Kevin is I've known him for like 8 years, so that kind of sucked.
That sucks knowing him for 8 years.
Yeah,
like,
knowing him for 8 years, and then he. Anyway, not that it sucks that like I've known him for 8 years. It just kind of sucked that I didn't know him for 8 years, and then he just kind of
and
like
he still
acted
like
that.
does that. Yeah.
Also, when I quit, he threatened to write me up multiple times, because I quote from him, "I've always wanted to write you up, Evan," and I'm not even joking. On my second to last day, he brings out a form.
Oh my gosh.
And with my name on it or whatever, and he's like, "Evan, I'm gonna have you sign this if you don't do it." I'm like, "I'm quitting in 2 days. What is
like,
writing me up? Even if you
do?
do try to write me up, I'm just gonna refuse to sign it, dude." Yeah. And then they're gonna look at the case and they're like, "Kevin, why are you writing him up?" And there's gonna be some stupid reason, and they're gonna be like, "Why?"
Why? It was just so dumb.
It'd be a waste of time for everyone.
What I didn't realize was illegal actually is that when I got written up for, and the stupid thing about it is that you for the bagger apparently, and I wasn't even doing like sauces or anything like that.
Yeah.
She was supposed to close it, but she was too lazy to do that, so she had me do it. And to close a bag, you have to fold it over twice.
Oh
But
yeah, with like the DoorDash.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
like DoorDash
yeah.
and stuff, and then you like tape it closed. But she filled this up so much that you couldn't even like.
Yeah.
You couldn't fold it once.
Because
you
they
could barely
wanted to
close
use
it.
as like little bags as possible.
Yeah, but
And it was just like, if there's like 3 fries, put all the fries in a separate bag.
they just got so full, and she's like, you have to double fold it, and I was like, I can't even fold it once. Like,
What are
it's
you
not.
talking
It's like
about double folding it?
yeah, and she's like, no, you have to, and I was like, no, it's literally impossible. And I showed her, I was like, you can't even close the bag. Like, I'm just gonna put it over. She's like, no, you better double fold it. And I was like, you know what? Suck it up, Buttercup, because I'm not gonna double fold it since it's impossible. And then after my shift, she's like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? I was like, sure. And then she's like, well, I'm gonna have to write you up because I asked you multiple times to do something and you just refused to cooperate. And I was like,
No,
shut up. I was like, what?
Cooperated. You just didn't like it.
She just, I guess, didn't think. I don't know. She couldn't have done it. Like, no one couldn't have done it.
No.
God would have had to make the paper bag longer to have done it.
Well, at that point, at least what I would have done, I would have just grabbed another like bag, regardless of what she said, to at least make it easier.
But then, yeah, she's like, I need you to sign this, and I was like, what did I do? And she's like, I told you. I was like, and then like we went over the whole thing again. I'm like, I seriously don't feel that this is like necessary. This is super unfair. And she's like, well, I need you to sign it. You can't leave until you sign it.
No, that's literally illegal.
And that's where it came in.
You stay.
They like she refused to let me go until I signed it. And this is like in the back room, and she like closed and locked the door, and she's like, "You're not leaving until you sign it."
I literally would have just sat there, dude. I would have been like, "Fine, just wait. I'll call someone. I'll call my dad and be like, yo, the manager's keeping me in here and he's not letting me leave until I sign something that I don't want to sign."
And oh my gosh, and I was just like. It was just got so bad. She's like, no, you're not leaving until you sign it. And oh my gosh, she would like lock the door and wouldn't let me go. And like, keep in mind that this is a 16-year-old girl that just got promoted to manager.
This
too.
is true. Like these people are the worst. It's like the 16-year-old managers that took their job way too seriously. Like, yes, I understand if you're like in your early 20s and you're living on your own and you have to pay for rent and like all this shit. Like, but if you're 16 and you're taking your job like super seriously, it's just annoying because like, dude, I was older than some of the managers, and some of them they were like as old as me or like a few months older, and then they treated me like I was like 12, and I'm like, dude, why?
It doesn't make sense because like it's good to take your job seriously, but you don't. But it just gets to a point where it's
just
over
like
the
annoying.
top.
Yeah, it's just like over the top and annoying and unnecessary.
Oh yeah.
But I remember one time for closing, literally same manager that wrote my boy up here.
Oh yeah.
So one of the things, at least when I was closing, is there was only 2 people. So usually they would have me bag, which I was fine with, and then they'd go do managery things. And just so like we could just like leave earlier, right? Which I was fine with. And then one time, this girl, That's not gonna fit you.
I'm playing around with something dumb here.
But one of the things, she was like, hey, Evan, can you bag? And I'm just like, sure. So I go to bag, and I'm assuming she's going to go to the office to, like, do something or start counting down drawers. This female dog literally goes to the dining room and sits down with one of her friends that came in, who doesn't work there, who is a customer, and she talks to her for like 30 minutes. So I'm by myself. I'm bagging the food, getting the drinks, getting the sauces, doing everything. And then, like, every once in a while, she'd, like, walk up and be like, Evan, are you okay? And I'd be like, oh, I could use some help. She'd be like, great, and then go sit back down.
Great.
I'd be like, okay, whatever. That pissed me off.
Oh, yeah. Just, like, one time, like, a friend that I literally haven't seen in years came to Chick-Fil-A. And then I was like, holy cow, I haven't seen you in a long time. And I just, like, took his order, and I was like... Then I just, like, hoped that he would stay after, and he did. So, like, when I was done with my shift, I went to go talk to him, but I didn't leave in the middle of my shift.
No, you don't go sit down with him while you're on the clock, dude. Like,
oh my
how like, she just got paid for, like, 30, 45 minutes just talk to her friend.
Talk to your friends. Like, you can't do that.
It was quite aggravating. I've been...
We've got some grandma problems over here.
No, I don't know. One time I've gotten written up twice there.
Really?
One time was because I didn't show up a shift because I was exposed to COVID, illegal.
Oh.
And another time, I'll tell the COVID one second, but we had these like Midwestern events or like cowboy special dinners that people sign up to. So basically, they didn't schedule you for that on hot schedules, like the normal scheduling app. They would send you an email to tell you, hey, you're working like 5 to 10, 30, like you're working 5 to 10 as to clear tables, and then you just get an email. So there was two of them. There was like a daddy-daughter one and then a mommy-son one. Which sounds so weird. I don't know. It was literally called that. It was like daddy daughter Midwestern thing, and then a mommy son one. I hated that.
Mommy son one just doesn't sound right. Like daddy daughter, it's like okay, like double, like daddy daughter, but like what's mommy's son?
Yeah, that just sounds odd.
It just.
But anyways, so for both of them, I was supposed to bus tables. The first one, the daddy daughter one, I did that. I showed up. I was working with Tyler at the time, which was so fun.
Tyler, I called him Spider-Man because with the mask on, he looked very similar to Tobey Maguire.
He did. Anyways, I was working with him. It was so fun. And then for the second one, the mommy-son one, I was supposed to work, but I didn't get an email. I wasn't even scheduled on hot schedules for that day, or to like even work normally that day.
Of course.
No calls, texts, no form of communication. So, like, halfway through my night, I'm chilling. I'm playing some Minecraft or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I get a call. And I'm just like, hey, this is Evan. And they're like, and someone just shows, Evan, where are you? And I go, who is this? And then it was like the manager's name, I forgot. And I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? And she's like, why aren't you at Chick-Fil-A? Because I'm like, I wasn't scheduled. I don't really spend all my free time there like you, all right? And they're like, no, you're supposed to be working the mommy something. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And they're like, yeah, you are. You're scheduled for it. I'm like, well, I didn't get any email or I wasn't scheduled on hot schedules. I'm not working. And they're like, yeah, but like, I can't remember who it was, but they're like, so and so said that they were working. And I'm like, yeah, well, not. And then this person doesn't even ask. They just go, okay, well, how soon can you be here? And I'm like,
tomorrow, because I'm not
I'll be like, I look at my phone and I go, Saturday? And they're like, what do you mean Saturday? I'm like, because that's when I'm scheduled. They're like, no, we need you now. I'm like, sucks for you.
Oh, that's
and
bad.
Then when I go in on Saturday, they're like, Evan, we need to talk to you. I'm like, dude. And they're like, we're gonna have to write you up because you had no call, no show. And I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, what? And I even showed them my email. I showed them that I didn't have any texts. I showed them on hot schedule. I showed them my call history. And I was just like, nothing. Do you see? And they're like, let's see. No.
Don't care.
Still wrote me up. That was so annoying.
Oh, yeah. Something like... So, with me, we have so many similar stories. It's so funny. But, like, with me, I was like... And this was when I was, like, super bored in COVID. I was like, I'm going to learn how to make macaroons or macarons or whatever you want to call them. Everyone calls them a different thing.
Yeah.
And in the middle of it, as soon as like I get like my egg yolks all warmed up like to room temperature, and I had to wait an hour for that, I got a call and they're like, same thing. They're like, "Where are you at?" Like
what do you mean where I'm at?
I'm like, what? Why does everyone ask me this? Like,
I'm at home.
yeah,
Stop.
it's like it's so weird. And then they're like, "You're supposed to be showing up for your shift." And I was like, "I don't have a shift today." And they're like, "Yeah, you do. You're scheduled for." And then they call it off-sale sites, which can mean literally anything. And I was
off-sale sites. I think that's drive.
It's
I think
supposed
that's
to
what
be. It's supposed to be drive-through or like outside or just it could, but it could mean like anything. So with off-sale sites, and so with that, they gave you 2 separate emails. The first one would be whether you were scheduled for like front counter or not, and the second one would be whether or not you have off-site sales. But like the spam filter on my phone, like if I get too many of the same email, then it'll just like send them to junk.
Yeah.
And so the off-site sale one got sent to junk because they sent 2 different emails.
That's weird.
So
you didn't see it? Did you see it on Hot Schedules either?
but it wasn't on Hot Schedules.
Oh, was it
either.
on Hot Schedules?
They just sent me an email about it, so that's why it was
That's
just
weird.
like
They're supposed to put it on Hot. Yeah.
yeah, Hot
that's-
Schedules. It would just be like, but like
Oh,
guy
that's
ended up
annoying.
like getting there like within 15 minutes. So but I was like 40 minutes late to that shift, and I was like it
Yeah.
was just so weird.
Yeah, that sucks. Oh yeah, that's right. The second time I got written up was basically I got exposed to COVID, and then I waited the 2 weeks, and then the day that the 2 weeks was over, I believe, I went to Chick-Fil-A, and it was on a Wednesday, and I never worked Wednesdays.
Oh yeah, you didn't.
But I worked the day before, so Tuesdays. So I walk in, and I'm with a bunch of my friends, and we're talking, whatnot. I see the manager I hate the most, and she glares at me with the freaking power of 1,000 suns. I swear it was the most terrifying look I've ever seen in my life. And we ordered, I sit down, and then this girl walks over to me, she goes, "Hey, Evan!" And I go, "Oh no, this is a passive-aggressive."
No.
And she goes, "Hey, Evan!" And I go, "Hey." And she goes, "Can I talk to you in the back real quick?" And I'm like,
I'm not working, no.
and I wasn't even working, and I'm just like, I guess so. And everyone is just like, "Whoop," because everyone hates this lady because she was very, very strict and took her job super seriously, but was just really rude.
Who was it?
Mean.
Oh.
Yeah, her.
Oh my gosh, of course it
Yeah,
was her.
the drive one. Not Jabin's ex, but you know who I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yep.
her. Anyways, so yeah, go on the back, and she goes, "How come you didn't show up for your shift yesterday?" And I go, yeah, because I was exposed to COVID." And she's like, "Well, why are you here now then?" Because I'm like, well, my 2 weeks ended like today, or like either yesterday or today, or like Tuesday, the day before, or like the day that I was there. And she was like, "Well, I'm gonna have to write you up." And I go, "Why?" She's like, "Because it's technically a no-call, no-show." And I'm like, "I was exposed to COVID." Then she's like, "Well, you shouldn't be here right now then." I think that was like her entire argument. It was just because I was there at the Chick-Fil-A on Wednesday is because I wasn't I don't even know what she was trying to, I don't even know what her argument was. Anyway, so she gets out the written form and the write-up form, and on the form you're supposed to put your like signature or your name or something, and then there's a reason for getting written up, and I'm pretty sure even she was supposed to put that, or I'm supposed to put that. She told me to put it, so I asked her, I go, "So what should I put for this?" Because I was genuinely confused.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't know what to put, because I'm like,
Yeah, they
well,
make you
I
write
cannot-
that down.
Yeah, and she was just like, "Oh, just put didn't show up for shift when scheduled." And I go, "You female, you little jerk." And I was just like, "Okay, man." And so I just put didn't show up for scheduled shift. I just put didn't show up for scheduled shift because was exposed to COVID, left it at that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, that is the Chick-fil-A work experience, at
Yeah.
least for us. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, please like, subscribe, share the video to your friends, family, pets, dogs, dog walkers,
If you
etc.
don't, I'll just cry. But
We'll
it's
cry.
alright.
We'll get really sad. Anyways, Have a great day and peace.